right, welcome back. Here we are at the boat, and we have all of our findings from our nature walk and hike, nature hike, to find all our really nice flowers and leaves and pretty little finding things that we found. So our materials that we will need are your wax paper or parchment paper, whichever one. You'll probably get it in a box or a roll. And what you need are probably 2 pieces, maybe 3 if you found a lot of flowers, but we'll start with 2 that are kind of cut. If you fold them in half, they're about the size of your book. So I have this big fat book, but you're gonna need a pretty good size one, or even in a little one and then stack some bigger ones on top of it. But they need to be for a flower press, which means under pressure, right? So we have our scissors if we need to cut our paper to the right size. Mine I was already cut, and have 2. You want to make sure that you can kind of feel the waxy side on the inside of your sandwich. So we have our 2 pieces or 3 pieces of wax paper, parchment paper, your book that you're going to be not reading for a while, okay? So you're going to need this one to be able to sit still, either in your bookshelf or under a pile of weights or something, where we're just going to let this sit for the 2 weeks of camp, okay? I have a couple rubber bands that I'm going to wrap around so that it stays nice and closed, even with the other books around, because I'm moving it around quite a bit. You want to make sure that it stays nice and closed. And then all your flowers. That's it. So let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick a place about 1/3 of the way in. Okay, you don't want to go right in the middle because we've got 2 pieces to put in, right? So we're going to come a little ways into the book and opening it nice up. Mine is at page 246, which is pretty random. Okay, you're going to take one of your pieces of paper and you're going to fold it really nicely in the middle. So we want to fold it nice. If you have it open, fold it nice and neat, and a super tight crease, okay? Because that crease, that half crease, needs to go right in the middle of your book, right? Right in the middle. It's not gonna hurt it, don't worry. And open it up just like you added 2 pages to the book, okay? It's gonna help you to kind of have one side definitely flat, rather than kind of bent up like this with the round parts. You don't want it all rounded up because we want a nice flat surface to work with our flowers. Okay, so I'm going to pick this side to work on. And then we start choosing our plants. So we've got a nice little pile here, and they're all different sizes. So I'm going to start with the hard ones first. These bright red ones are going to be pretty hard because they're a weird shape. Weird shapes are fun when they get flattened, right? They open it up and fold in all different kinds of ways. So this one, if you have a flower that has the open petals, right, that looks like a normal, you draw a open petal flower, you want to make sure that those petals are all opened up, not folded flat, opened up, and you want to put that face down flat on the paper, okay? And then it'll fold a certain way, so you get to see all the insides and they don't close up. You want to leave them open so you get to see all the insides. So what I'm going to do is open it up nice like this, and almost like a stamp, put it down on the book. Okay? And kind of hold the bottom and fold the rest over. Okay? This one's a little juicy on the back. It's got a big back to it. Kind of hold it open and press it down just a little bit. The book will do the rest, right? Just so it kind of stays for a minute while we get everything else set. Same thing with, remember this little piece of Queen's Anne's lace I found? I'm going to cut the end just so we have a little bit of a stem to work with, not a big one. And it's already drooping because it's so hot outside. I'm going to open it up a little bit, put it face down on the page so those pieces all open up nice and big, just like it was when it was on the plant, and kind of press the back down. See how I'm doing that? Press the back down so that it stays and opens up like a flower. Same thing for all the little pieces that you get. I'm gonna fast forward through this bit so you don't sit here and watch me for 40 minutes. It's gonna take a little bit. Okay, so now that we have all of our flowers laid out, we're going to super carefully close this page of the book and then we'll open up to the next one. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is make sure all your flowers are in, or you press them down with the butt, right? Flat into the page so that you know that they're going to lay flat how you want to see the flower later when you open it up. Make sure you fill in all your spaces with all your greenery, right? Little clovers, little leaves, and we'll do the rest in a minute on the second page. Alright, so I'm going to close the other half of your wax paper, nice and easy, and then we're going to kind of hold it, nice and gentle, and close the top. Make sure they don't slide out the front, right? Make sure they stay on your page. Close it nice and careful with the top of your book. Now you can press it down a little bit just to make sure they flatten out. Stay where they're supposed to be, and hold in here. You can check your edges. Make sure there's no plant that's poking out. Okay, you want all those on the inside, nice and tight. Okay, so that's page number 1. But we've got some extra. We got lots of flowers and stuff to work with because we're doing 2 projects. So we're gonna come down, pull open to another spot in our book. You want it a little bit further away from that, so all your places stay pretty flat. Be careful to keep that side that you already have done nice and flat. And we're going to put in our second piece, remember? So fold it in half with the wax side on the inside. Super tight crease. Super tight crease. And we're going to lay that right in to our next page spot. This one is at page 630. It's a big book. Alright, so we're opening this one up for our next piece. And I've got a couple more flowers, but definitely some greenery to work with. Now, this piece had a couple flowers and a bunch of leaves, so what I'm going to do is separate those out a little bit. Sorry for the noises, they're making a lot of noise pop up. Okay, so I'm just going to separate it probably a little bit like that, and I'll put some of these little leaf bits in too, just so we don't have a bunch of sticks on the inside of our book. That's not necessary. We're not going to use sticks, we're going to use the flowers. Alright, so we're going to put these ones down too. Remember, face down, open it up a little bit, press the back down. Make sure it's a happy, smiling flower so that when you open it, you get to see all the pretty bits. That red leaf that I found, it's all latticed out. A bug had its lunch on this leaf, but it's still pretty. So we'll see what happens when it dries even more. All the little bits. That's almost like a fern, but it's not quite. More clover. Clover. Open that guy up so you get to see all 3 of his leaves. Like a puzzle piece where you get to make your own puzzle with all these pieces of flowers and leaves. Don't overcrowd them, remember, because if you overlap your flowers, they'll stick to each other. So you want to make sure there's lots of space around them so that when they press and open up further, kind of like when you're baking cookies and you have to leave space between the cookies on the baking sheet, it's kind of like that. So we're just making flowers. All right, and those pieces are okay. I've already got 2 clovers, which will be plenty. And we're really careful. Press those down a little bit. Close our wax paper. Press it down just to make sure everything's in place. You can kind of look at it like a window. Make sure it's laying flat as you press down the other half of your book. It needs to go right in the crease. This is the top part. Keep it nice and tight. Make sure they don't run away out of the sides. You can check to make sure they're all inside. Nobody's peeking out. Nobody's peeking out. Nice and tight to the middle of the book. Give it an extra press. And I'm going to put my rubber bands around the book. You can if you have any or if you want to. And then I'm going to either stick it under a couple other big books or even in the middle of a bookshelf that has all the nice tight books with it. Anything heavy. Find a rock, put it on top. Anything. It's all good. So I've got my rubber bands around. And then that's it. And then you sit and wait. So we're gonna let this sit in the nice summer for probably close to the end of next week is when we're gonna start working with these. So we gotta make sure that they're nice and dry. You can peek at them every couple days, not every day, but maybe every 2 to 3 days. Peek on them, check to see how they're doing. But remember, the more times you touch them, the more chance there is for them to get folded or creased. So maybe once a week you can check on them and see how the drying process is going. All right, and then next, the second week of camp, we will do projects with them, which is super exciting. So this is going to be a practice of patience, right? Because we just did some really cool stuff and we went on a really cool walk, and now we have to wait to be able to work with these things. But that's how you press flowers, and I can't wait to show you the next steps. So happy camp, welcome to camp, and welcome to Handicrafts, and I can't wait to show you even more to make more projects with you. So send pictures of your pressed flowers and your flower collections, because I want to see all the cool things that you found where you live and around your house and with your family. And let's have some fun. All right, see you later.